Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with a Borderlands 3 news update. Today we are going to be taking a look at a slew of online portfolios for the fine folk at Gearbox Software. What we're going to try to do with the information presented here that a viewer was kind enough to send me over on Twitter is narrow down when exactly possibly development started for Borderlands 3. Now, based off a tweet from Randy Pitchford back in 2015, we know they started recruiting for the next Borderlands game around January 25th of that very year. So we don't know exactly when development started. We knew they started recruiting, and possibly people thought they were just concepting the game, you know, pre-production stuff. So we didn't know exactly when development had started. Now, while these online portfolios don't give us details whatsoever about the game, it's still fun to speculate, talk about, and see what we can narrow down. So the first one we have is for a contract weapon artist, and it says he created high-quality firearms and environmental art. Contract weapon artist is responsible for producing high-poly models, low-poly models, UV unwraps, baking, and textures for Borderlands 3's weapon and environments. Now, if there's one thing a lot of these portfolios can actually tell us, it's that it'll be called Borderlands 3, presumably. And while that's kind of a no-brainer, some people were expecting maybe Borderlands 3 with a little subtitle, such as the pre-sequel, or Borderlands 3 with the 3 mixed into the name itself, stuff along those lines. So it seems like they're just gonna go with Borderlands 3. Up next on the list, we have the character slash game designer who's been with Gearbox since 2009, so Borderlands 1. And it says he is currently working on Borderlands 3's playable characters, plural. Very important to note, just that they're not going to be changing up the formula with just one playable character, but we know for a fact now that there's going to be multiple ones, as expected. Nothing crazy there, of course, but still, we got to solidify every detail we can about a game that's unannounced. Now, here's where we can really start to narrow down when development for this game may have started. We have a concept artist who worked with Gearbox between April 2015 to October 2016, and as it says in the picture, worked on Battleborn and worked on Borderlands 3. Now, Battleborn released in May of that very same year, so being hired sometime in April, it doesn't make sense to work on some last-minute concept art for Battleborn unless maybe, and there is the possibility, it was for some of its awesome DLC. More importantly is the fact that Borderlands 3 is listed here, and it might line up with what we saw on Randy Pitchford's tweet saying that they were hiring for the big one in January of 2015, and that perhaps this man or woman was hired in April of 2015 and started work on Borderlands 3. So I think it's safe to say that sometime around here, we probably had the development of Borderlands 3 begin. And if that is the case, if we go to this very date now, we're about over 2 years in development, because the gap between Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2 was 3 years, but since Borderlands 2, it's been 5 years since the last Borderlands game. But if we account for Battleborn, it's only been 3 years. So if Gearbox really does stay on that 3-year development cycle, it should be safe to say that we can expect this game in 2018, provided that my speculation is accurate. And lastly is the senior concept designer who's been with Gearbox since November of 2007 to today, and he's worked on Borderlands 3, Battleborn, Borderlands the pre-sequel, Borderlands 2, Aliens Colonial Marines. He makes sure to specify he was the visual consultant on that one and didn't really touch too much of the game. And then lastly is Borderlands 1. And what's awesome about this article is it actually linked from the senior concept designer Lauren Woods the Borderlands prototypes that he had worked on over the years. So I'll have that linked in the description down below. You're looking at some of it now. It's kind of cool just to get a little backstory, a little background info on the development of one of our favorite series. Anyway, that's all the information I had to present to you guys today, just narrowing down a little bit more where exactly this game is in development, especially if they're hiring concept artists for kind of a quick in and out thing, like a little contract or freelance worker, then that definitely means that development is moving at a very rapid pace. So that's excellent to see. That means we're not really seeing any hitches, and you know, 2018 just can't come soon enough. That's all I gotta say, man. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found this information useful. Be sure to share it with any Borderlands fans out there, and let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, as well as my Patreon. Do consider supporting that, as it fuels all the content we create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.